1975 Fool for the City, an album, as we mentioned before in this series, that had an iconic album cover. We'll put a link to the description of how they made that album cover and the description of this video. But there was a song on there that changed everything for Foghat. It was interesting. It was 75. Same thing happened in Nazareth with Hair of the Dog and the title song as well as Love Hurts. Everything changed for them. They went from this kind of arena to this kind of arena. Foghat with Slow Ride, well, they were bumped up a few notches for all the right reasons. We talk about Slow Ride and a lot more with original Foghat drummer Roger Earl. That and a lot more on Rock History Music. Let's talk about Foghat, a British band that emerged in the early 70s, known for their blues-infused rock and boogie style. The group was formed in 1971 by former members of the blues rock band Savoy Brown. The original lineup included Lonesome Dave Peverett on lead vocals and rhythm guitar, Tony Stevens on bass guitar, Roger Earl drums, and Rod Price lead and slide guitar. The founding members were seasoned musicians. Lonesome Dave was known for his gritty style voice, energetic stage presence, and of course, a creative force in that band. Tony Stevens, as a bassist in this type of band, was crucial. Then Roger Earl, what a character. A very powerful drummer. And Rod Price's distinctive slide guitar, a trademark in the Foghat sound. As the popularity grew, of course, lineups change. It is a rock band. Nick Jameson replaced Tony Stevens on bass and contributed to production. He was also a significant force on the band's biggest album, Fool for the City. And there was another replacement bassist, Craig McGregor. Like a lot of bands, they experienced their own strife and lineup changes, as mentioned. When Tony Stevens left because of creative differences and fatigue from the band's rigorous touring schedule. In the late 70s and early 80s, as the band's commercial success started to wane, more creative differences emerged, particularly between Peverett and the rest of the band. He left to create his own version of Foghat in the US, which caused a lot of confusion, and there were legal problems. The successes? Well, Foghat's discography has a lot of significant albums and singles. These are the tunes that cemented their success. Their third album, Energized, came out in 1974. It was their first to go gold, but it was their fifth studio album, Fool for the City, in 75, that brought them mainstream success. That's the one that featured their big hits, Slow Ride, often characterized as infectious. That riff is very catchy, of course, and it's still a mainstay on classic rock radio. Other notable albums, Foghat, the debut, in 1972, featured the popular track, I Just Want to Make Love to You, which really showcased that blues rock roots. In 74 came Rock and Roll Outlaws, with the track 8 Days on the Road. Night Shift from 76 continued their run of successful albums with that Hail, and a cool copy of Al Green's Take Me to the River. Their live album from 77 was very successful. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Charlie Hume, who collaborated with Ted Nugent, and Humble Pie, and many others, before joining Foghat in the year 2000. He was with them till 2022. As of 2022, the lineup for Foghat includes Roger Earl, who was with them right back to 1971, an original member, on drums. Brian Bassett, former Wild Cherry guitarist, yes, play that funky music, on lead and slide guitar and backing vocals. He joined in 1999. Rodney O'Quinn on bass guitar, and Scott Holt, lead vocals. Overall, their legacy as a powerful force in blues, rock, and boogie has always kept them on the pages of rock and roll magazines and websites all over the world. Slow Ride is one of those songs that you have to, if you're living on this planet, you've heard this song.
Well, Nick Jameson had just joined the band. I was living up in Woodstock at the time, Bearsville, and Nick Jameson was the engineer at Bearsville Records. And Nick and I had become friends because we'd worked together on a couple of albums, and we used to go out and play badminton together, and we'd go up and jam at local clubs up in Woodstock. And Tony Stevens got fired again, or I was asked to leave the band. He was always leaving. And we needed a bass player. And I said to Nick, I said, you want to... No, actually, I asked him, I said, do you play bass? He said, yeah, it was the first instrument I played. He's horrible. Nick Jameson plays everything. Piano, guitars, oboe, horns. Don't you hate people like that?
And he's a funny guy too, eh?
Oh, yeah, he's a riot. So we drove down to Long Island, where Rod Price and I had shared a house, and we'd had the basement soundproofed, and we got there. Dave started off. It was just a jam. It was just music to start off with, and then Nick Jameson arranged the whole song, Slow Ride. He said, "Rod, just go bang." I said, "What?" He said, "Just go bang." And that's how it started. Nick arranged the whole song. There was a breakdown in the middle. There was a bunch of other stuff going on, but once again, we were working with a resident genius, Nick Jameson. Those horrible people can play everything great. Don't you hate people like that?
That funky music, do you play that in concert?
We certainly do. We're not letting Brian get away with that. Initially, we got a little bit of pushback from certain people in the band that are no longer here. But I pushed for it, and Brian said, "You want to do it?" And it works great. Play that funky music, and then we do Slow Ride. What are you kidding? The place is up and dancing and moving. That was around the same time that we had Slow Ride. I think it was 76, somewhere around there. They were up for Grammys for their songs. We weren't. But the songs came out around the same time. And again, Brian grew up listening to American, English bands. Jeff Beck is his favorite, Eric Clapton, Peter Green, so he grew up listening to the same sort of music I grew up with. And Scott, who grew up, he was with Buddy Guy's band for 10 years. So, Scott Holt can play guitar, and he's a fantastic singer as well. So we're all have a similar, our taste in music. We all go, yeah, that's good. Let's do that. Let's do it. And playing is like, I don't want to say it's easy, because playing music is not easy, but it's always, we always find a way to make it work where everybody says, this is great. Let's keep this, as opposed to other times, or maybe other times when you're making music, it'll be like, I don't know, what do you think? We don't have moments like that. We have, no, this is fucking great. Let's do this. Keep it. Don't do anything to that. Let's keep that one. And because sometimes I'll be sitting there going, maybe I think I could do that. And then Scott and Brian will say, no, that's the take, Roger. Is it? Yeah, no, that's we're keeping that one.
The first single, Driving On, Kim Simmons gave you how many songs? 4 or 5 for the new album?
He sent 4 songs to me. It was just him singing and guitar, and I think to a click track. And he played on our previous studio album, Under the Influence. I invited him down to do that. And after he finished, he played on about 4 songs. And after we'd finished the recording down in Nashville, actually, Tom Hambridge was the producer on that one. And Kim said to me, I'd really like to write some songs for Foghat. I said, that would be great. You just have to play on them. But unfortunately, Kim became ill. But he sent me 4 songs. We couldn't do anything because of the COVID nightmare. Interrupted everybody. Life interrupted us. And then, of course, Kim became ill. But we recorded 3. We have a 4th song, which we'll probably get together on our next album with. Kim and I became, actually, we were always good friends. I can never, I've said this before, but it's true. I never remember having a cross word with Kim. And we'd known each other, 50, 60 years, 50 years. He was a beautiful man, a brilliant blues guitar player. And every year he will put out a new record. He'd write 12, 15 songs every year. I mean, it was like, and I've listened, like, there was one album, Witchy Feeling, which had these great songs on it. I even remember looking at them going, maybe we should do a couple of these. And then, of course, Kim came to our rescue, and gave us 4 songs that he'd written for us. So yeah, it was a sad day when we lost him. I talked to him about 2 months before he passed, because when he was in the hospital, they wouldn't let you talk to anybody. In fact, his wife had a problem even getting in to see him. That's another story. Yeah, that was a tough time. He was, I can only say, he was a brilliant blues guitarist, and he stayed true to his original passion.
Well, I really hope you enjoyed that. Roger Earl is quite a character, huh? Still doing it after a lot of years. The only original member left in Foghat. There'll be links to Foghat in the description of this video. Also links if you want to help out the channel. We're in the process of changing our mics, and buying good mics are very expensive. So this little Yeti Blue is pretty good. We need a better mic than this. So if you want to help us out, you can make a donation on our PayPal page. There's links in the description. Also links to Patreon, where you can get early access to all our videos. And remember to subscribe, click the notifications so you don't miss a video. A lot of folks have a tendency to forget that. But click the bell notification, you'll get included in everything we do, and you can join our newsletter too. There's a link in the description where you can do that. Like our videos, comment on them, and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music.